Hello and welcome to the Connection Compass. I am your host, Andrea Louise Evans. To find out more about my work, please visit andrealevans.com. What if the key to success wasn't knowing everything, but saying yes and figuring it out as you go along? Today, I'm sitting down with Emma Chadwick, a self-taught floral artist who turned passion into a thriving business. Without ever saying no to an opportunity, we'll talk to Emma about how she built her career from the ground up, the lessons she learned along the way, and why she believes that not knowing something should never stop you from chasing your dreams. If you've ever been held back because you didn't have enough experience, this is the episode for you. Hello, Emma, and welcome to the Connection Compass. Are you well today?
I am, thank you. Are you?
So I'm really good. You are the owner of Bay Tree Flowers and Coffee House, which is a beautiful shop, I have to say,
Thank you.
in Chadderton in Oldham, which is part of Greater Manchester for those who listen in. Beautiful words, beautiful flowers, beautiful creativity. So I wanted to invite you onto the podcast because I think you've got some amazing experience to share with the journey that you've had with Bay Tree Flowers. So I'd like to ask you a few questions about that.
Yeah, of course.
I have known Bay Tree initially as a florist. So have you always wanted to be a florist? Or was you something else beforehand? Because I don't know.
No, my background starts as fashion and textiles. So I've got a HND in textile design. I didn't really want to go down the art side of it, and I didn't really want to teach. There wasn't much money in the art side of it, and it wasn't a constant living. I had my son and then decided, what could I do? I needed something that was creative, where I could just express myself creatively, but also try and bring in an income for my family. So I was I was sat in bed actually breastfeeding one day, and I was like, right, I'm going to be a florist. There you go.
Oh, so it was
I
like
was
that.
literally like that. I'll never forget the moment. And I was like, I had this small baby in my arms going, I need something that's going to be a proper job, so to speak. Like, because the art side, I used to do freehand embroidery and weaving, and it just wasn't an income coming in that was sustainable. And you just being a mum, that worry of, oh, how am I going to provide for my child? So that was the moment that I said, right, what am I going to do? But I always wanted to have the art side involved in it. So my initial idea was I wanted a florist with an art gallery with the both. And I've got loads of fantastic friends who are fantastic artists. So my idea was to have their work in there as well. So, but plans change, but the floristry was something right. And that was then my goal. So that was 9 years ago.
Then what happened? So take us through that point to having that idea. So what was the next step?
Well, so when you initially, it was like, right, okay, this is what I want. I always have an idea, but I'm open to change because things don't always go the way you plan it, no matter what you're doing. Even if you're painting a picture, it never ever ends up the way you think it's going to end up. So if you get so fixated in that, then that's where I feel like my problem started. You know, if you go down a tunnel, you've just got to be open to change. So I thought, right, what can I do? Because I already had a HND in textile design, I was then dropping down to a H. It was, I forget what the qualification's called now. It was a very small qualification, NVQ. So I dropped down to an NVQ, and they would charge me a large amount for doing this small course. So money was tight because we just had a baby, and I just thought, what am I going to do? So I decided to, right, I'll just go and do it. It was very traditional. We're looking back, it wasn't really, it was the basics, but it wasn't the best. So they advise you to go and work free. You volunteer in any florist you can get into. My husband had always bought me flowers, so I decided to go, and it was a gentleman called Robbie Williams Flowers at that point that was in Middleton. And his work was fantastic. So I thought, if I'm going to learn off someone, I want to learn off the best. So I went and volunteered there, a few days a week, and then it wasn't long and he offered me a job. But it wasn't making flowers, it was, you were just watching. And I can't blame you. He didn't want anyone else's work, just his, which I get that from me having my own florist now.
Yeah.
Because it's your name that goes on those flowers, so it's your responsibility to make sure it's done right.
Yeah.
Then but it's more also when you're doing floristry, it's about the care of the flowers. So I learned so much about how to look after them, keep them alive, the cleaning vases, and then it went from there. So I was watching and observing, but it wasn't until then, 18 months or a year later, I think it was, I ended up getting the opportunity to open my own shop. He was leaving, and I got this amazing opportunity to not take over his business, but set up my own business.
So was
So,
it in that original shop that you had? So the shop on the
yeah,
corner of Bay Tree?
yeah,
It was, oh, really? I didn't
yeah,
know that. Yeah.
yeah. So the landlord, Robbie, had left, and the landlord said, "Well, it's vacant if you want it." I jumped in with both feet. I really did. I was like, right, I can do this. I never say no to any kind of opportunity coming. It's like, this is my first podcast, and I
Yeah,
still didn't
I
say
know.
no. So yeah, it's from there really. And that's 17 years ago now.
Wow.
So it's a bit crazy.
That first shop, was it a learning curve for you?
Yes. I remember sitting there the first Saturday. I opened on a Saturday, which was probably the worst thing to do. I should have opened at the beginning of the week. And I remember sitting there going, oh, this is mine now. And then making the first bouquet in front of someone, because it is nerve wracking, because it's
Yeah.
like you're being judged. You're not, but that's how it feels. So
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. And now don't give it a second thought now.
In terms of teaching yourself,
Mhm.
what was the biggest challenge?
I think you have to, everyone has their own style.
Yeah.
So I view floristry as it's an art form to me. So it's just like painting a picture or
Yeah.
making a bouquet it's an art. Everyone has their own style. And
Mm.
that's what I love about floristry. There is so many good florists around but they're all individual. I'm me. So I do what I do, they do what they do. So it was about learning my style and what I like, what I feel comfortable with. And it took time. As far as once you get the actual the construction of the bouquet, that's the first thing you have to learn. Once you have that, then you can start playing around with the design of how you want it to look. It takes time. Many a times I've not lost my temper, but it's like, oh, it's not going right, and then put it down and had to start again. And I get annoyed with myself because that's wasted time. But yeah, it's just about being creative and playing really with it until you get it right. But that technique of how the structure of that bouquet is made to how it'll stand is what you need to learn.
So then when you were at Bay Tree, so I've been to Bay Tree, both Bay Tree shops,
Oh,
both
I know. Thank
beautiful,
you.
both done wreath workshops at them both, which have always been amazing. But then you decided to expand the shop, didn't you? You introduced a coffee shop, didn't you,
Yes, I did.
at
Well,
Bay
for the first thing, I like coffee and I like cake.
Yeah.
So it's a bonus. It's a win-win. The coffee fuels me for the busiest days. The real reason why I did it was because I was trying to you have overheads when you have a shop. It's always a big worry. You've got to make sure that you're paying the bills. So I thought that if I had two different aspects coming in, one overhead, two businesses, it might help. The art gallery didn't really take off. The florist was always cold. So
Right.
it can get damp. It has an atmosphere and it's full of moisture. So I would never wanted anyone's work to get damaged. So then I thought, "Do you know what? I was near a train station and I had so many people coming by going, is there anywhere I can grab a coffee? And I was like, oh, maybe. I I bought a second-hand coffee machine and it was sat there for 3 years.
Oh,
Because I'll be honest, my husband was dead against me doing it, and
right.
it took me a long time to convince him, but I saw this coffee machine, which was a bargain, and then I was like, "Oh, this is what I want," and then it wouldn't have if it wouldn't have been for my mum and dad, I wouldn't have been able to do it because they helped me. And it really was a dream. And I love it. I really do love it.
So then you moved to the other Bay Tree Flowers and
Yeah.
Coffee House. Could you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Well, my lease was coming up I was renting there and I was there 11 years. And my dad always used to say to me, renting's dead money. So I always, in the back of my head, was like, my goal was to always have my own premises. So we're talking 11 years down the line. And I think the coffee shop was four-ish years old then. So it was still finding its feet. The coffee shop, it never really, it worked there, but it never really took off. The florist was always the main business. And then I decided that I needed to take the leap and try and find a premises that was my own for like, I don't mean to sound grown up, but I was thinking about pensions. Like, I needed something as an investment. And like I say, my dad, at this point, my dad had passed, sadly. And I just always, in the back of my mind, he was always talking to me. So it was mainly that. And I was driving past, stuck at the traffic lights, and I just looked at the building. My mum was with me, and I was like, Mum, I want that. That'd be perfect. So I just tried my hardest, and my husband I wouldn't be able to do it without him and his support. So, it was, let's just go for it. And it was a big challenge, but then I thought, well, at least I'm paying towards something, so it's not dead money. I'm putting something in. It's like a savings, and it's a bigger premises. So I'd have upstairs to do my workshops. Oh, I was so excited. It was like it was something that was mine. I could make, and it was a mess because it had been empty for 8 years. So it needed gutting, and I've worked hard to get it where it is, but loads of people helped.
And it's beautiful. It is really beautiful.
You are very kind.
I didn't know it had been empty for 8 years.
Yeah, well, so it used to be a hairdresser's, and then I think a gentleman had it, but was just like an office or something.
Right.
It wasn't a shop. It'd been closed, so it just needed, there was no heating, there was nothing, so it was right. Roll your sleeves up, and even my customers were so lovely. One lady came to help me paint the walls and clean the windows. And I was like, I'm just so blessed with wonderful customers that actually want to see Bay Tree succeed. The one thing I'll be honest, so the shop, for people that don't know, was basically on the same road, but went from Middleton to Chadderton. So it was different, but it was the same road. Sadly, I had to change my phone number because I was out of the district. But I also thought, oh no, everyone will know where I am.
Yeah.
But looking back, it did affect business for the florist side of it. But if they didn't come that way, they didn't know. So even now, I'm like, I have people that are rediscovering me and going, oh, I didn't realise you'd moved up there. I was like, oh, I didn't mean, not arrogant, but I was like, yeah, no, just a bit naive, I suppose. But it was definitely the best thing I ever did.
So what did you do to get your name back out there? So even though you were still there, you'd never gone away, you just moved on the road. What did you do to kind of
and
get...
then it was all like a blur. A lot went on. My last day at the old shop, I had a little accident where I ended up being taken out in an ambulance. So I was put blood, sweat and tears were in that shop, and literally it was. So I had a severe, I took my arm, not to be, but I got basically skinned myself. I fell on my vases and I didn't do any of the move. So I was recovering from that. And then I also got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. So at this point, and it was hard to then try and advertise because my health wasn't great. So I pulled back a little bit. I didn't go full. I've never actually advertised being here. It's just been word of mouth. But it's 6 years on now. But it's still nice for people.
I can't believe it's that long.
Yeah. I love it when people say, oh, it's like Chadderton's little secret hideaway. And I just love it. I really do.
And It's beautiful because I've held a workshop there and it's just so inspiring because you've got the
Yeah.
flowers and you've got the welcome, the community, and all those like really inspiring words around the shop. It's beautiful.
What I wanted was not everyone's having a good time or everyone has bad days. And life is hard. It's not
Yeah.
easy for, everyone. And you have all these Instagram posts and that you think, oh, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. You just everyone has hard times. And I wanted to people to come into the shop and no matter what day they're having, that one of those signs would speak to them or make them
Mm.
feel a little bit brighter. Because
Yeah.
there's been times where throughout this I've wanted to give up or thought, what have I done? Because you're just thinking, oh, are you worried about money or is this or that? And it passes and better days are going to come. And I just want people to know that. So that's why the signs are on the walls.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, what has been the biggest challenge in the floristry journey overall?
Well, recently, COVID, everyone struggled with that. I had to shield for a year. So I was open the new shop for 6 months and then had to close it down for a year. I wasn't allowed out the house due to my medication that I'm on and my health. So recently, that is just learning to live with an autoimmune disease has been the hardest challenge I've ever faced. Knowing that I can't do what I used to be able to do. I'm not that person anymore. So like even the way I hold a bouquet or the way I use the secateurs, I mean, I'm a lot better place than I was, thanks
Yeah.
to my wonderful doctors, than I was 5 years ago because I couldn't see past though that pain. But I'm very lucky. So at the moment, that's my struggle, knowing how I can't keep up. I have to limit what I can do. So I class myself as I'm the old florist now, but I see all these young new people coming in and I just can't keep up with them. So I'm like, oh, I just wish them well. But as far as floristry goes and the business side of it, my biggest problem is actually the business side of it. I can do the creative, I can smash that, it's not a problem. But sometimes, the accounts and things like that, running the
Yeah.
business, making sure it's profitable. I have a tendency to put too many flowers in. So that is genuine. I just need to put one more in. And my mum works with me, so she runs the coffee shop for me. So she'll look at me and go, Emma, and I'll be like, yeah, but it just needs it. So my heart rules my head, and I think
Yeah.
that's I've got to overcome that. So I always say I'm not going to win Businesswoman of the Year, but I do care.
And, that really shines through. And, even though there are some challenges, that just doesn't come across at all because you're so good at what you do. And it's that creative process, isn't it? It's a creative journey. And
Mhm.
it's almost like you want someone else to do the business side. So
Yeah,
you just
no,
create it.
that's exactly it. And sometimes there's so much pressure, and I know no matter what job you've got, there's so much pressure in all different aspects. But you've got this thing where you've got to be successful. You've got to be mastering all your socials, and then there's this, and it's like, and I've said it to you before. I feel like I'm spinning plates sometimes.
Yeah. Mm.
It burns you out, and you get to
Yeah.
the point where I go, and you're your own biggest critic. So
Yeah.
you'll end up going, oh, like, I'm not doing good, I'm not doing this. And then you see Instagram and you see other things and you're like, oh, I'm not on the ball. And you're like, yeah, you are. You just need to just take time and rest. You can come back firing, you know.
You can't give from an empty cup, can you?
That's exactly true. And sometimes too many ideas that you have, you just put too much pressure on yourself. So
Yeah.
it's like just step it back, take one idea and then run with it. And that was one advice my tutor, she was an amazing lady, she gave me. She said, you just take one idea and run with it. And then till you burn it out, instead of trying to do loads, you're setting yourself up to fail.
That's a really good that's good advice, actually. And what inspires you? What What do you think
Um,
inspires you?
I don't. I love nature, and I've got
Yeah.
to say, if I'm ever feeling overwhelmed or stressed or anxious, just go into the park. Just I've got a dog. I've got rabbits, and just being with them, and it's just stepping back from it.
Yeah.
It's I call it like a treadmill of life. So you're on it and you're constantly on it and you're trying to keep up and your feet are going and then you step off it sometimes and you just breathe.
Mm.
And I love just going feeding the ducks at Foxdenton Park.
Oh,
I love doing that. It makes me happy.
yeah.
So, and then I feel like, oh, we'll go for a drive. You just look around and you just take things in. So you come back firing then and get really creative. So
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from your story is you're just so motivated, even though there are some challenges, you're so motivated. And you said that you just take opportunities that you so where does that come from? Does it just come out of nowhere?
no, no,
Or
not at
is
all.
there a little mantra behind it or just
I
what happened?
genuinely think that so if I instantly feel like I want to say no, I say yes before I can think about it. Because, like I say, my own fears or insecurities, everyone has them, they hold me back. So if I say yes, then I have to follow up with it. So, like, this is it. I was like, just say yes. She'll do it. It's fine. And then you'll figure it out afterwards. Like I said to you before, when I was like, I know all the questions, I know me, I know what I'm talking about. I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, it's like just say yes and then figure it out afterwards. Because sometimes until you push yourself, you don't realize, especially creative wise, if someone says to me, oh, could you do this? And I've never done it before, but that doesn't mean I can't do it. So it's just a challenge and just don't hold yourself back. Because if anyone
Yeah.
does, it will be you, nobody else. So,
And does the does the fear creep in at all at any point? So
yeah,
is that after the yes?
a little bit, but I suddenly, I just don't want to say no to opportunities that might be better for me in the business, just
Right,
because I
okay.
might not like the sound of my own voice, or I might not like to go and I don't like being on film or anything like that. But then sometimes I just think you're holding yourself back because what insecurities you have, other people might not see them. So
Yeah.
it's like stop getting trapped in your own head and
Yes.
try and just
Yeah.
be free. And then you discover that you're capable of so much more. I, the other week, I let the students from Oldham sixth form film at the shop. Just like on a Monday, the shop's closed. I was like, nope, yeah, go and do what you want to do. And I got there and I didn't think they went, oh, will you just be on film? And I was like, no, no. And then because I'm on steroids as well. So it's like changed everything about my face. And so I'm like, I can't do that. And then I thought, oh, Emma, stop being so silly. And because they needed someone behind the counter. And you know what? After I did it, I thought, yeah, my drama teacher would have been really proud of me. So I felt like, oh, what you silly, just embrace everything and just. So when you said this, and I was like, yeah, go on then, and I'm really
Yeah.
proud.
Yes. I'm so glad you did. I'm so
No,
glad
I'm
you came
thankful.
on and had a chat because, you are inspiring, Emma.
Bless you.
You're wonderful in what you do.
As are you. What you're doing is fantastic, and
Thanks.
I hope you realise that too.
Oh, thank you. I will do one day.
Yeah, you better do. Well, I'll keep telling you until you do.
Thank you. What is there one thing that you wish you would have known all the way through?
Oh,
Or from your from any part
yeah,
of your journey?
yeah.
Is there one thing when you said, "Oh, I wish I should have known that before?"
It's hard really because what I've noticed, especially with these trends with floristry, so it's keeping up on top of that. So it's change. Don't be fearful of change. Because it's inevitable. Styles will change. It doesn't mean that you don't fit in anymore or you're not good at your job anymore. don't try and, oh, I've got to jump on this trend, or just stay true to yourself. So
Yeah.
if I could have told Emma 17 years ago, is just stay true to yourself, be you. You're not in competition with anybody. You're just you. So if you can hold that, and then you'll bloom. So that I think that's the best thing for me to say.
Yes. Yeah, lovely. Um, what advice would you give to anybody just starting out?
Oh, just do it. Just do
Just
it.
do it.
Just do it. You only regret the things you don't do in some ways, because you live and learn from the things you do. I've made so many mistakes over the way, but I don't regret any of them. Whether they've been hard or not, you learn. And sometimes I even think, I don't know that much. I'm always willing to learn. There's always something that I'm going to be like, oh, that's a different way. I'm not fearful of like someone showing me something different. I have a thirst for that, actually, because I am self-taught, really. I've not got no qualifications in floristry. I always think, oh, is there anything I could learn that could make me better? So I like that, or listening to people. To start out, the best thing that you could do is watch, listen, and learn that way. Go speak if a florist can take you on, go and volunteer if you can, and you might be cleaning vases, and it's not it, it's playing with flowers, and everyone goes, oh, haven't you got a lovely job? I have got a lovely job, but there's also a lot of smelly water,
Mm.
cold hands, dry hands. I always make sure I clean with bleach my vases so that they're always nice and clean. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that you don't
Yeah.
see. So roll your sleeves up, and it's getting up early and things like that. But just go for it, and get a good accountant who can help you if you're not as I'm not very good with my account side of it, so I'll let them deal with that.
Yeah.
If you're not, don't worry if you're fearful of something that you're not good at. Don't let that hold you back, because there is people that are out there that will help you. And I think that's the main thing. And I love that this network that you're creating of people, because talking to people makes you feel in a community. You don't feel
Yes.
as isolated and as alone. And I think that's really positive, especially
Yeah.
women in business as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I think it for me, it's about just wanting the purpose of the podcast really was to get people's stories out there so people could learn because I I think a little bit about what you were saying before about these things that happen in the background that we're not aware of
Yeah,
because on the social media platforms, we see the end results, but we don't see what goes on behind. So it was really to bring those stories out
yeah.
and people that have ideas about doing something and how they've grown it and how they developed it over time. It's really about capturing those stories as well, which I really love.
I think it's honestly, it's absolutely lovely, and it does make people feel more connected. It is the
Yeah.
best probably way. And
Yeah.
what struggle I have, you can guarantee other people will have
Yeah.
their struggles. And if we
Exactly.
don't talk, the one thing I don't like about the floristry industry, and it's probably the same with everyone, is that it's like we're against each other. And
Mhm.
it's like, so, oh, and I'm like, no, I don't like that. I'd
Yeah.
rather, because do you know what? If anything, we know what each other are going through. So
Yeah.
let's just work together. Like I said,
Yeah.
if you can come united, it makes you stronger, and it's nice to talk to people.
Yeah. Is the group for florists? Is there groups that you can go to and meetups and things? And
Yeah, there is a lot of associations that you can join. You normally have to pay for them, and like a subscription. It's not something I've ever done, but yeah, I can imagine them being really helpful. So yeah, there's a couple. I think Good Florist Guide or the British Florist Association, and so there is places that you can go, but nothing that I know of kind of in the area. But I'm always at the end of the phone if anyone ever needs to talk. So
And so finally then, so where can people find you?
Oh, bless you. So I'm in Chadderton. I'm on Middleton Road, which is on Broadway Junction. And I'm just a little shop there that has wonderful flowers and gorgeous coffee.
Lovely. I will put the shop details in the show notes so people can look at
Thank
your
you.
website as well.
Oh, you're so kind.
But thank you, Emma. Thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. You're an inspiration.
Oh, thank you for having me. So are you.
It's been a joy speaking to Emma on this week's episode of The Connection Compass. I really love her passion and enthusiasm and that approach to life and business. From an idea to a successful business, not allowing fear or not knowing holding her back. It's been a truly inspiring conversation. Emma's journey with Baytree is exactly the reason why I do the podcast, so you can hear the stories behind what you see and beyond the social media posts. It's through stories that we learn and turn our can't do's into can do's and find connection. To find out more about Emma's work, please visit the show notes. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of The Connection Compass. If you think it will help someone else, please leave a review at podchaser.com. If you have any questions, please visit Andrea L. Evans' Facebook page and remember to keep talking, keep connecting for a more interconnected world.